Good day, everyone. Welcome to Global Government News. Today is October 5th, 2010, and I'm Darko. Welcome to this video podcast, and today in this video we're going to cover the War on Terror, Liberty, and Sovereignty. And for any newcomers, please go to GGNonline.com. That's GGNonline.com to check out the most recent videos that I've been uploading. Taking a bit of a break here for the past month to sort out other things, but I'll be back making more news videos. I like doing this because it not only helps other people stay informed, but it helps me stay informed, because when I'm not making these news videos, I'm not really checking out the news as much as I really should be. You know, it's kind of crazy the amount of time it takes to produce these videos and gathering all of this news, that it really takes away time that I could be using for other things. But I'll try my best to try to balance that out. So I keep doing this. But anyways, it's good to be back, and this first article up is going to be, actually these first articles up are going to be kind of a string of early September articles that I left off with around September 4th. I think that was the last video I uploaded. So this I'll just kind of continue off here, but trust me, it's not going to be all old news. It's going to be new news as well. This first one is bomb kills 54 in Pakistan. Taliban threatens U.S. This is from Reuters, and it's from September 4th, 2010. It says a suicide bomber struck a rally in the Pakistani city of Quetta on Friday, killing at least 54 people in the second major attack this week, and piling pressure on a U.S.-backed government overwhelmed by a flood crisis. Well, you can go ahead and say it's a puppet government, too. Moving on here, it says women, kids among 17 dead in northwest Pakistani bombing. And usually the headline will say 17 militants dead or killed in Pakistan or Afghanistan, Iraq. So this is why I decided to cover this, because they actually say women and kids were killed. Well, that's the majority of the people that are being killed at the hands of these drones and U.S. and Western forces in order to kill the terrorist. So it says a car bomb ripped through a police compound in a northwest Pakistani city on Tuesday, killing 14 women and children and 3 officers. Okay, so yeah, I see already. They're basically just going to blame it on al-Qaida, or the Pakistani Taliban. And they're responsible for killing the women and children, and this had nothing to do with the U.S. So this is why I'm covering it, yeah. Because, see, they only say that they're killing women and children when, oh, it's the Taliban, but let's not talk about any of the other military U.S. powers, Western powers, that are doing the same thing. This next one up is small bomb damages NATO oil tanker in northwest Pakistan, October 5th. And it says a small bomb damaged a truck in northwestern Pakistan on Tuesday that was carrying oil to NATO troops in Afghanistan. The latest attack on stalled supply convoys since Pakistan shut a key border crossing to international forces last week, and that was due to the to the natural flood. Right? I think there's a pretty good chance or reason to cause flooding in that region via cloud seeding and weather modification. Either the Russians or the U.S. Or the West have those capabilities, along with the Chinese. They use it for political purposes to displace people. So you can, and then you can bring in your troops. And you can bring in just a presence of your country, and you can play the hero, right? When you're actually the one that caused the problem. I'm not saying that they did that these nations did that. I'm just saying that they have the capability to do it if they want, and if they can, well then most likely they will. So moving on, this next one is from the Washington Post, and it says Iraq soldier kills 2 U.S. troops. This is from September 7th, 2010. So it's a little bit of an older one. It says Baghdad, 2 U.S. Service members were killed and 9 others were wounded when a Kurdish Iraqi soldier sprayed them with gunfire inside an Iraqi Army commando base north of Baghdad on Tuesday afternoon, Iraqi and U.S. military officials said. The 2 Americans whose names were being withheld until relatives are notified were the first U.S. service members to be killed in Iraq since the Obama administration declared combat operations there officially over last week. Oh, okay. So after the war is over in Iraq, after it was declared over in Iraq, which is a bunch of crap, right? That's just what they tell the sheeple. That combat operations are over, and it was the first death. And who was it by? By well, their own forces. Just like much of the violence that was going on in Iraq about a month ago. I remember watching this news video where an individual that's very knowledgeable on this area, and Baghdad in particular, and he was saying that the social unrest and all that was coming from the actual Iraqi government because they didn't want U.S. forces to leave. Says the incident underscored danger still facing the nearly 50,000 U.S. troops still in the country. So, you know, that's what they pretty much did, right? Which was like Bush in 2002, I believe, with the mission accomplished in Afghanistan. And yet here we are, some 9, almost 10 years later, still in Afghanistan. And they will declare victory just like they basically did here. Combat operations are officially over. And that's what they basically said. I mean, they can come out and say, well, we didn't say it was mission accomplished or that we won. That we just said that we're scaling operations back. But if you read other articles, other propaganda pieces that are put out by the White House and that, and the other speaking heads, talking heads for these globalists in the military-industrial complex, they said that job is the job well done, basically. And so they'll just move on to the next country, which is Pakistan. So they're moving and scaling away from Afghanistan into Pakistan, which I will show you an article to verify that. So I'm not just speaking out of my ass here. It is based off facts, and it is based off what's going on around us. You just have to find this information and put the pieces together. But you're not going to have the pieces put together for you by the mainstream media or the media in general. You have to do that yourself. I try to help you do that. I post all these links so you can go in there and read them. Like I said, so I'm not just making this up. Even though I'm showing you the articles, you can still go in there and check out the links. But that is the ultimate goal here, is to go into these countries in the Middle East one by one and dismantle them and impose, quote, democracy, which really isn't democracy. It's a dictatorship. But it's the new system that the global elites and basically the ruling families that were monarchies before, who still rule, this is the system that they prefer. And we're actually going into a post-consumerist, post-democratic society. And so these people will most likely go into that kind of fake democracy and have McDonald's everywhere. And it will be kind of in whatever a post-democratic, post-consumerist society will consist of. I'm not actually sure myself, and it's quite scary, to be honest with you. What does that mean? A bunch of people with no jobs, hanging on to feeble promises by politicians and government and all these other people in the media? Not really sure. Fighting over welfare checks and aid as they spend more and our economy goes down the tubes, and it's not really going to collapse. That's my idea. I don't think it's going to collapse, and that's a totally different story. But anyways, so they're going to keep moving on, and this is all said in the Project for a New American Century, where they go through and basically say what they're going to do. This is, when I say they, I'm talking about not a big conspiracy theory. I'm talking about an actual group of people, actual people that got together and created something called the Project for the New American Century. And so you can go ahead and check that out, and along with other information, where basically these think tanks and that lay out what they want to do. which is to go into Afghanistan, then Iraq, and then you got Pakistan, Syria, Iran, right? So as long as you know that, and it's all based off what? Israel. So as long as you know that, you'll be good to go. You'll be ahead of others. You'll be ahead of most people out there who are getting just totally spoon-fed this garbage they call news. But this is from the Washington Times, and it says suspected U.S. missile strike kills 5 in Pakistan. I just wanted to throw this up here just because I like how they wrote this. Suspected U.S. missile strike. Well, do they not know? You know? Oh, it's just suspected that the U.S. Killed 5 Pakistanis. It says a suspected U.S. missile strike Sunday killed at least 5 associates of a warlord who is fighting Western troops in Afghanistan, intelligence officials said. So intelligence officials said this, but it's suspected that they did it. They're not actually sure. And they're not actually sure that the people that they killed were really, bad guys, right? Because that's what it's all about. Just take out the bad guys. This article was from, I believe, the AP. Yeah, the AP. And it's titled "Record Level of U.S. Airstrikes Hit Afghan Militants." So I guess they're sure of this. It's not suspected. They do know that it was the U.S. that struck them. Okay, well, that's good. That's good that they at least know that they were the ones that did it. This is a drone aircraft unleashed a missile attack in a lawless tribal region. I guess that means that they're actually free, or at least more free than us over here in the United States, the land of the free, home of the slaves, right? It says, in a lawless tribal region on the Afghan border Wednesday, keeping up the most intense period of U.S. strikes in Pakistan since they began in 2004. So I like to just go through this stuff because it's important, I think. It changes the way you think. It alters your perception when you look at stories like this. A period of U.S. strikes in Pakistan. No, it's U.S. strikes on Pakistan, on Pakistani women and children and people. They are people, trust me. They're human beings with flesh and bone, just like you and I. I'm not talking like down to you. I'm just talking to anybody who's a new listener to any of these videos. But they stepped up the campaign that included Wednesday's strike, which is focused on a small area of farming villages and mountainous. So yeah, they're bombing farmers and just wreaking havoc, like I said, just going through and destroying cultures. Oh yeah, but don't worry, they're going to come in and guard your poppy fields so they can export those to into their little heroin business, so they can continue their unconstitutional, nation-building wars. 30 insurgents killed in Afghanistan ahead of vote. Up to 30 insurgents. We'll see if we say they're insurgents, then we just disassociate that with people. Up to 30 insurgents have been killed in fighting ahead of this week's parliamentary elections in Afghan, which the Taliban want to undermine, right? They want to undermine. Well, just so you know, guys, we're actually paying, the U.S. is not NATO, we're paying the Taliban to not strike our convoys as they drive. So as long as we keep paying the Taliban, they won't strike us. So I wonder why they didn't just pay off the Taliban to not disrupt these elections. Well, I'll tell you why. Because they want the Taliban, and they want groups like al-Qaida that are funded by intelligence agencies, the global intelligence agencies, all the alphabet soups and numbers. It's a desire of theirs to have social unrest in countries that they are trying to overtake. In fact, they go out of their way to create these conflicts so that it creates a desire or a need for them to be there to protect the people. 23 soldiers killed in Tajikistan. Remember, I said Central Asia is ground zero for possibly World War III, so pay attention to Central Asia and the Muslim extremists. And lastly, we have this. U.S. strike kills 5 German militants in Pakistan. CIA escalates in Pakistan. Analysis, terrorism alerts reflecting evolving threat. U.S. plans law enforcement surge on train. NYPD prepares for guerrilla-style terror. The terrorist says more attacks on America are imminent. Australian Aboriginal tasted. Army embeds active-duty PSYOPs soldiers at local TV station. And be prepared for 10-10-10 possible false flag terrorist attack. Thank you.